keep a Bible in my pocket when I'm riding around. I keep a...
What you say, Gary?
No, I just said when we used to watch certain videos about them, my wife, she didn't like it.
She didn't. I mean, I know that
She didn't like certain edification. You know, it was kind of too raw. I had a problem with it, but you know,
I'm gonna be honest, my rib like that too.
When we talk about certain races and stuff like that, she kind of be like, no, you don't have to do that to Esau, or you don't have to do that to them, or you don't have to do that to Moab. But like,
okay, I want to read something to you.
This is what he's saying.
Right. I want to read something to you. Matter of fact, I'm glad you're here. Because look, check this out. Think about it like this. Which one? I'm gonna ask you which one's worse. I'm gonna ask you which one's worse. Us sitting up there saying what we say to Esau, but listen to this. I want you to listen to this. Go to Leviticus 26 and 44.
You want your water, baby?
No, 25.
Is your wife an Israelite or she a heathen?
No, she is Israelite. Okay. Yeah, she is Israelite. Started at
And even she don't like me talking about.
No, because it's so she's still
She's emotional.
she's on the side. She's like she comes from the Christian church,
Okay.
so she's kind of on the side. And then
everybody
but it's certain things. She keeps the like the Sabbath and stuff like that. All praises, you know what I'm saying? She she's under me. She listens, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. I think like she just trying to, I think the main thing is like the extremeness, you know what I'm saying? It's so extreme from what people are used to, you know what I'm saying?
Not the extreme, brother. It's just the payback. People have a problem with the payback.
No, I agree.
Being equal.
I agree.
About how certain people have done a certain thing, now it's going to be done onto them. Now it's no. But like he says in Isaiah, he says, you have to pay for the sins of your father.
They gotta pay.
Right, okay, so this is just maybe, and I don't know if I'm speaking on behalf of all women or on behalf of emotions, but the way that we're looking at it, and maybe you can understand it, like if you break it down to your wife this way, the way we're looking at it is, okay, we understand that, like an eye for an eye, because like the Bible said, a tooth for a tooth and everything like that, but when you actually look at what you're saying and what you're pushing out and what you're producing, how is it any different than what they did?
You know what they did? I'll give it to you. So,
Like, that was a good question. Because like when people look at what we're doing, they look at it like, oh, what we're doing is it's the same thing that they did. But see, one thing we're not doing, we're not graping their wives. We're not doing things in wickedness. Like they were moving in wickedness. They were graping our wives, all types of stuff. We're sitting up there speaking in righteousness. See, this is the thing. One thing our people gotta understand is too that sometimes, like for instance, like I give it to you like this. I'm not gonna cuss because I know your kids is here, but I want to use this as an analogy. Like when you deal with like even like with cuss word, I might sit up there and be like, man, F this, F this, that's perceived to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? But in this society, that's perceived to be good. Or I might be out here teaching like, we gotta stop calling our women bees, Somebody might look at that still like that's wrong. But in reality, when you deal with the message of what that person's saying, like for instance, if I'm sitting up there saying we need to stop doing this to this bee, we need to stop calling our women bees and stuff like that, that's a good message. It might have some words that people might not be privy to and good with, but it's still a good message. Opposed to the other person that's rapping like, oh, we need to F this bee, you know what I'm saying? It's the same words being used, but it's the message. A lot of times we're not thinking about the message and the delivery of I get a lot of times the delivery is like offensive, but we gotta understand the Bible's offensive. Like watch what we about to read. We about to read this right now. This is what I was about to read when he was sitting up there talking about like, Edomites. But we gotta remember it. Listen to this.
So Leviticus 25 and 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen.
So hold up. Our bondmen and our bondmaid dealing with like slaves. When you deal with these words, it's dealing with slaves. They shall be of the heathen. So we shall have the heathen as slaves. But what else? This is in the laws of God.
That are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they begat in your land, and they shall be your possession.
They're going to be our possession. And this is in the laws of God. Where you at?
Yeah, read 46.
46. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever.
Hold up. The slaves that we have shall be of the heathen, the other nations. But it also tells you what? We shall inherit them, and they shall be them and their seed shall be our slaves forever. That's the law. So which one's worse? That or us out here telling the heathen like they going into slavery? Which one's worse? Us, we just using words. Back then, when you deal with the laws of God, they actually had heathens enslaved back then. Which one's worse?
I mean, I guess like code cut straight like that.
You just say like the slavery, right? Yeah, that's worse. So you gotta think about what we're talking about. And what we gotta do, because look, I'm gonna show you something too, sis. But we gotta go to Psalms 149. Get Psalms 149. Because you would say you a saint, right? You a saint, right? We the saints, right? Pursuant to Psalms 50 and 5. Psalms 50 and 5 talks about us being the saints, the Israelites being the saints. Go ahead, King. Go ahead. So watch this. If you're a saint, this is what the saints. I'm gonna ask you a question as I read this. Listen to this. Go to Psalms. Start at verse 5.
Psalms 149 and 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds.
So let the saints be joyful. Let us sing aloud on our beds. Continue.
Let the high praises of God be in their mouth.
The high praises of God is gonna be in the saints' mouth. Watch this.
And a two-edged sword in their land. Verse 7.
Oh, a two-edged sword in their hand. It said hand, right? So the saints are gonna have a two-edged sword in their hand. You see that? That ain't something nice. A sword, that ain't something nice. Carrying that sword the wrong way, you might cut some. You know what I'm saying? That's a sword. Watch this.
Verse 7. To execute vengeance.
What they gonna do?
Execute vengeance.
Say it again.
Execute vengeance.
Hold up. The saints are going to have a two-edged sword, and they're going to execute vengeance upon who?
Upon the heathen.
Upon their own people.
The heathen.
Hold up. It says upon the heathen. That's who we're going to execute vengeance upon. The heathen. That's what the saints are going to do. So we got to keep that in mind. With you being a saint, I'm going to ask you before you say, with you being a saint, are you ready for that, sis?
Absolutely.
Ready for that?
Yes. Also, one thing that I kind of like wanted to point out is, how do I explain it? Okay, so in this day and age, what I'm starting to realize is what the Bible's already talking about, like the saints that we're doing, we're actually already doing that in this moment. What you guys are doing right now is using that double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You understand? Right, yes. So for me, what I'm explaining is, with what y'all are preaching, there's nothing wrong with how y'all
Shalom, Mr. Carr.
There's nothing wrong with how y'all preaching or anything like that, but on behalf of, I think all women are saying is, don't you think that everybody around us on earth has seen enough fighting, enough wickedness, enough bloodshed? At this point, instead of provoking the physical, let's provoke that spiritual side, like how you guys are doing now, like with the words and everything like that. A lot of people, they can't come and step to y'all and have a conversation with y'all because a lot of times they know they're going to be chopped up, they know they're going to be confounded. What I'm saying is, everything that you're saying right now is already happening spiritually. We're already chopping them up. Every last one, the truth is coming out, and now they can't stand against it. So that right there, in its justice, is chopping them up spiritually. Them, their babies, their wives, their children, all of that is chopping them up, and they can't sit with it. So at the end of the day, as far as doing that physically, it's not necessarily a need, because I feel like our people have suffered enough trauma, and we don't need to be subjected to that.
Have we talked to you before?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yes.
I thought so. I just thought about that.
Yeah, I thought so. I definitely thought so. So, it was right up here too. It was up here. Okay, so that's perfect. That's perfect that you said that. And I do agree that we've been through a lot of trauma. as a people. I do agree that we've been through a lot of trauma as a people. But the question is, see, when you deal with the prophets of God, one thing that the prophets of God did when they went out on the streets, see, a lot of people think that the prophets were just some soft men. The prophets was out there fighting. Some prophets killed. The prophets got down back in the day.
No, for real.
You know
like,
what I'm
I like to say, like, for me, my favorite thing to use as a reference is Yahushua. A lot of people think that he was just this soft, giving person. No. If we looking at it, he was like the top. If we're looking at it as in today's age, he was almost like the top head of like a cartel, if you wanted to. Almost like.
Yeah, he was a soldier.
Yeah.
You gotta think, babe, he was around.
Murderers and thieves and liars and all of that.
He was around all the people that we would consume as
Sinners.
no, we would consider thug niggas nowadays. He was around all
That's
the
what I'm
thugs.
saying.
He was around
What's up, bro?
murderers.
How you doing? But no, for real, he was like when you deal with Christ, man. Christ was a soldier.
Yeah.
See, this the thing. People see the way they portray Christ. They portray him as a white boy. He was just a soft white boy. But the thing is, when you really deal with it, he was a straight soldier. Watch the Bible. I'm about to read this about him. Watch this.
Very stern.
He was really about that. Like what Kendrick say, is he like that? He was really like that, bro.
Yeah.
It was to the point where people was afraid to ask him questions. How you doing, Ken?
Chill, gang.
Shalom, man. Shalom. I see you. Hey, you strapped up, you ready. You already know, man. Anything can happen out here, right? Matter of fact, get that real quick.
That nigga wasn't a white boy, either.
No, he wasn't.
This-
Watch this. He was. Hey,
Matter of fact, before we read that, we're gonna go to read that first, and we're gonna go to Acts 13. I'm gonna read one for you.
This is Luke 19:21. For I fear thee, because thou art an austere man.
So it says that he was an austere man. When you actually look up that word austere, it's dealing with strict, hard, rough. He was rough, rugged. You feel me? He wasn't somebody that just came out and was the softest man. No, he was rugged. Yahushua really got out there.